I want to share a story with you of just how great our God is. My wife and I, we've ministered in Eastern Europe and Russia going on decades now. But one particular story just kind of stays with me, and that's the story of Peter. He was a young man from Czechoslovakia. In the summer of '79, Czechoslovakia now is governed by an atheistic government. And he was a computer programmer by trade, and he had a good job in a factory. And he had gathered this group of about 13 people for us to begin training in terms of how to be sure they're Christian, how to grow in their faith. So that training time ended, and we lost contact with Peter. But I'd heard that Peter, because of his Christian involvement, the atheistic government did not like nor appreciate what he was doing. So they took his passport away. They put him under internal exile. He could never, ever leave his country. He was a computer programmer, but they removed any access to computers. So he had to come to work and sit, and the desk was empty, and he was given nothing to do every day. And the government was planning to do that to try to demoralize him. And so a few years later, when Peter and I reconnected, I said, Peter, tell me a little bit about the difficulties that you've experienced, and what happened to those 13 people that we were training? And he said initially it was very difficult because he knew they were trying to stop him from doing his Christian activities and ministering to all these people. But then he got this idea that, okay, I've got all this time on my hands. So he would come to work, he would bring his Bible, and he would do Bible studies, he would write letters, he would spend time in prayer. So he's doing all of this, and then after work, he would go and visit these people. And I said, well, how many people are there now? He says, that group of 13 now numbers more than 500. So this atheistic government was paying him to pastor these 500 people. And the 1 John 4 talks about greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And all of us go through difficult times. All of us from time to time. The scriptures are clear that all of us will face some type of persecution. Persecution might be within your own family. It might be in your workplace. It might be in your community. We don't know what the level of persecution will be until we're actually in the middle of it. So the challenge I want to give to you is when you're facing persecution, don't back down. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. If I look at the adversaries, if I look at the darkness, if I look at the difficult times I go through, if I take my eyes off of him and look at the circumstances, I might be disappointed, I might be depressed, I might be distressed, certainly distracted. But as I keep my eyes on who he is, then I realize there's no enemy that can overcome him. There's no sickness, there's no difficulty, there's no persecution that can overcome his plan. Oh, many will try, and many will try to attack me and you personally. But we have all the cards. We know the end of the story. We know who the ultimate victor is, and I choose to trust him because I know he is far greater than everything else.